structure is so dangerous at times. Can line, set fire, injection ready.
Welcome back to Two Lamps Last Hour News.
I'm Vernon.
I'm Cheryl. Another fire, y'all. This time in the Carolinas. South Carolina governor declared a state of emergency. I know things are so expensive right now, but whatever y'all can do to prepare, prepare now. Trump is imposing tariffs on other countries. We don't think it's going to turn out the same as last time. I think they want us to think it's going to turn out the same as last time, to work for our benefit. But we don't think that's the case. Again, we want to let y'all know we are not for the Democrats, far from it. But y'all must realize the left and the right are in lockstep together. You're going to see them go against each other on the news because they have to put on a show to get you to believe that some of them are on your side. But that's just not the case. It's just to control what you think, keep you calm, control what you do, and how you'll react. To let you in on a little secret we've learned. The Freemasons, Jesuits, and Illuminati have people in different positions all over the world controlling everything from churches to government. Yes, even churches. They infiltrated churches with lies. That's why so many different beliefs. That's why a lot of lies are floating around in churches. A lot of bull to deceive the masses. Well, we're here to tell the truth and expose Satan's lies. So let's get into it. Here's the first clip.
Question, are we great yet? And I think, frankly, if I didn't win, I think the stock market would crash.
We're seeing dramatic, just free falls. Now, some of this is early in the first quarter, but this is scary stuff. So
great that even Fox News can't avoid telling the truth.
Let's be clear. If Trump is imposing tariffs, we're ready. We're ready with $155 billion worth of tariffs, and we're ready with the first tranche of tariffs.
And the auto industry expects to feel the impact of President Trump's tariffs. Fox Business's Jeff Flock is in Glen Mills, Pennsylvania this morning with a first-hand look. Jeff.
Could be ground zero for the impact on the tariffs, Maria. This Dodge Ram truck, $80,000, instantly became $100,000.
I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you.
Today, Trump fulfilled one of his promises, actually. No, not combating inflation.
It all happened very quickly.
No, not ending the war in Ukraine.
Do you see any future in which Ukraine returns to its pre-2014 borders?
Well, I think Pete said today that that's unlikely, right? It certainly would seem to be unlikely. They took a lot of land and they fought for that land, and they lost a lot of soldiers. But it would just seem to me, and I'm not making an opinion on it, but I've read a lot on it, and a lot of people think that that's unlikely.
No, not bringing down the cost of living.
So when I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
By imposing senseless tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, with the result being, well, just see for yourself.
50% of the spending that has masked a lot of pain out there. And now a lot of those economic numbers, look at the GDP now. Thursday, it was we were looking at first quarter, 2.3%. Friday, it was a negative 1.5%. Yesterday, it was negative 2.8%. That's not all trade. That we're seeing dramatic, just free falls. Now, some of this is early in the first quarter, but this is scary stuff. So there's a lot more going on, a lot more substantial things going on besides tariffs, because listen, this is soft data. They haven't hit yet, right? So the economic data that's moving the markets are in place and moving in the wrong direction.
That's right. Today we are entering into a new global trade war that every economist predicted would happen months before Trump even took office, only for Fox News to act shocked, like they hadn't platformed Trump's tariff plan without any pushback.
Oh, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.
Yeah.
Impact.
Dramatic. I sold order for a customer, $80,000 truck. It's $100,000 now. So he's not going to buy the truck. It's going to sit on my lot at, the higher interest rates we're paying right now for floor plan. And nobody's going to buy the truck because it just had a $20,000 price increase.
Right. Kelly.
So far, it's not looking so good with the stock market. And Trudeau, he doesn't want to work with us either. So don't be fooled by that either. Trudeau wants one world order also.
The higher costs when there's tariffs, it's going to eliminate jobs. It's going to be higher for the government to make money. They use nickel. Nickel comes from Canada. Canada's going to impose tariffs on the nickel. Therefore, giving Trump the authority, which he probably will because he wants to get rid of money because it costs. But he'll say, okay, it costs too much to make all the coins. That's probably going to be next. When he gets rid of that, the bills will follow because the New World Order can't come into play unless the money is gone. So that's going to work just right for that to happen. He wants New World Order in 100 days after he gets into office.
Here's another clip.
Hello, everybody. David Schuster here. Donald Trump has now imposed his tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, and U.S. investors on Wall Street are reacting with disgust. The sell-off began minutes after the opening bell. Here's how it played on Fox News.
All imports from Mexico, Canada, an extra 10% from China. And look at the reaction on the big board today, all right? So the Dow at the moment is down 1.4%. You add that to yesterday, and you're about 2.8% off in 2 days of trading. The NASDAQ is down even more. It's about 3.6% overall.
The markets dropped not just because of the U.S. tariffs. Soon after the Trump action took effect, China, Mexico, and Canada announced their own tariffs in response on a wide range of U.S. products. On CNBC, Jim Cramer blasted the Trump administration for starting this trade war and for creating vast confusion.
It isn't like they've said, okay, look, here's the schedule, here's the tariff. Like when you were in Europe and they did Brexit, you got the schedule, you got the tariff. You said, oh, okay, I owe this. They haven't given us anything. We don't know what we owe and what we don't owe. We don't know where it's paid. We don't know if it isn't paid. Do we owe them? Who owes it? Does the buyer owe it? I mean, the lack of any thought about this, David, is stunning.
It is.
This is a huge amount of money involved.
Potentially, yeah.
Economists point out that the United States and Canada typically trade over $2 billion worth of goods every day, or $750 billion every year. Now, countless goods and services crossing the border in both directions will be more expensive. The automotive industry will take one of the biggest hits, given that some vehicle components cross the U.S.-Canadian border 7 times before the factory production of a car or SUV is finished. As CBS News reports, the tariff impact on vehicle prices will be significant.
Driving up the cost of a small car by an estimated...
AI is Trump's plan from day one. That's supposed to work in his favor for any tariffs he imposes, because it's kind of hard to understand, but he uses AI, and he will use AI because he's going to use that for humanoid robots that Elon Musk has to use for labor in this country. And that's going to reduce his cost for labor. And it'll cause this nation to be productive. because we're using something without physical or human labor. They're using that without that. So other countries will be forced to use humanoid labor. And then that's going to cause their dollar or their money to fall. And it's going to bring in a new world order all over the world. It works out in his favor to impose tariffs to end all economies.
So here's another clip. Watch this.
So many car components are built across the border.
Because of the arbitrary nature of the emergency use of tariffs that are being done, we don't know how long they're going to be in effect. At the end of the day, there is little doubt that consumers will feel the pain of this, but it will also impact consumer demand as well.
Economic uncertainty already pushed consumer confidence down in February. And in a new CBS News poll, just 24% of Americans say the economy is getting better. 49% said it's getting worse.
And experts note that about 70% of all U.S. economic activity is driven by consumer confidence. When confidence rises, the economy improves. When confidence drops, the economy begins to stall. Making matters even more dicey, Canadian leaders are now threatening to choke off the supply of certain raw materials that the United States depends on.
I don't want to respond, but we will respond like they've never seen before. You need our uranium, you need our potash, you need our high-grade nickel. I will stockpile our high-grade nickel at 50% of your military and manufacturing needs, your aluminum, the steel, the lumber. It will be an absolute disaster. And this is all due to one person, that's President Trump.
In a news conference, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau addressed Donald Trump directly and referenced the critical assessment of the trade war by the conservative Wall Street Journal.
Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal. But Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
In fact, the Wall Street Journal, which is owned by the conservative Murdoch family and usually supports Donald Trump, called Trump's actions the dumbest trade war in history.
What Trudeau really means when he says, our government has chosen to do this to us, is he is all in with the one world government to do this to us. Y'all have to look deeper into what they are really saying. Spend time in prayer and ask God to open your eyes, your spiritual eyes, to understand what the truth is. Ask God to show you the truth about any of these people, and He will show you the truth.
We pray that, Father God, you give us wisdom, along with the people hearing this, wisdom to make the right decisions and to understand what's going on and to see through any manipulation, any lies, any cover-up, that we may know truly what it is that we are experiencing, not lies. And you heard it yourself, folks, that Canada owns the nickel that is sold to us. So what's going to happen is all the coins, not the penny, because Trump already eliminated the penny, but the other coins are nickel and I think copper. So the nickel is needed to make the coins. So it sounds like the coins will be eliminated very soon because of the tariffs.
From what we're understanding, the movements that will take place in 2025 are going to be rapid ones. So y'all need to prepare spiritually and physically as much as possible. Here's another clip.
People, we don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. As of this morning, markets are down and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country. Your government has chosen to put American jobs at risk, at the thousands of workplaces that succeed because of materials from Canada or because of consumers in Canada, or both. They've chosen to raise costs for American consumers on everyday essential items like groceries and gas, on major purchases like cars and homes, and everything in between.
In Washington, Trump's Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick went on CNBC and argued the tariffs over the long term will increase manufacturing and industrial production in the United States.
Why do we produce cars in Canada? I know people worry about short term, but we are going to bring jobs. You are never going to see the amount of production come out to America that Donald Trump's going to bring.
They're claiming they're going to bring jobs back to America, but it's going to cause inflation on the raw materials that we get from these countries. So that's going to have an adverse effect against us.
Are they going to bring jobs back to America? Or are they trying to make the stock market crash to get rid of the money and force everyone to go to a digital dollar? Here's another clip.
Trump's Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick went on CNBC and argued the tariffs over the long term will increase manufacturing and industrial production in the United States.
Why do we produce cars in Canada? I know people worry about short term, but we are going to bring jobs. You are never going to see the amount of production come out to America that Donald Trump's going to bring back to America.
The argument from the Trump administration is that the short-term pain of the tariffs, higher prices, and the drag on the U.S. economy will be worth the long-term gain from increased U.S. manufacturing. Most economists are calling that Trump White House argument ridiculous. Here's Justin Wolfers from the University of Michigan on MSNBC.
I think what's coming out of the White House is, frankly, unmitigated nonsense, and there's not an economist alive who would defend what they're doing. But your viewers don't have to believe me. It turns out that there's a market where people bet on whether those sorts of effects are going to happen. I'm talking, of course, of the stock market. If Lutnick is right, and if Trump is right that these tariffs are going to lead to a boom in American business, then you should see the American stock market boom in response to a tariff announcement. What we saw was stocks fell 2.5% yesterday, an additional 1.5% this morning. This is the stock market telling you, we think this is absolutely terrible for American business. And remember, it's businesses that are meant to benefit here. The stock market's not even taking account of the fact that high tariffs mean you and I are going to be paying a whole lot more at the grocery store as well. So there's a lot of losers all around.
And the biggest losers are people who still trust Donald Trump. Since he took office the second time in January 2025, the U.S. markets are in the red, as in they have lost ground. Markets in Europe have gained ground. Donald Trump has haphazardly tried to fire hundreds of thousands of U.S. government workers. Trump's migrant deportation efforts have harmed the agricultural and construction industries by intensifying the labor shortages and causing prices to skyrocket. And on foreign policy, Donald Trump has sided with Russia over Ukraine in that war and put Putin's dictatorship over European democracy and freedom. There is an argument out there that Donald Trump might as well be a Russian agent or asset given the destruction he has inflicted on the United States economically, politically, and in America's standing around the globe. But whatever is motivating Trump, one thing is now abundantly clear. U.S. market investors hate what Donald Trump is doing. And as the U.S. economy tanks because of the Trump trade war and so much else, all Americans are going to have to pay. By the way, Vice President J.D. Vance recently got taunted to his face at a Vermont ski resort.
New video now.
Six weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
That was a clip of Trump stating how much he's done in the first 43 days. And if you notice, he said he's just getting started. Y'all better buckle up.
If you look up Golden Age, I think it's in etymology, that it talks about people of prosperity. And at that time of prosperity, they use magic. Now, what that has to do with prosperity is nothing good. So, and there's other terms we all know. It's called the MAGA. And that's applied to what Trump has said from his beginning of his campaign. Make America great again. Well, it all sounds good, except if you look it up. It doesn't sound so good. Now, I don't know, if you're so really kind of caught up with this that you don't want to hear anything negative. But if you don't want to hear the truth, then I guess you shouldn't hear this. But if you want to hear it, we're here to tell the truth. And it talks about that MAGA actually stands for the highest degree within Satan's church. Now, why would that be applied to a man, or why would it be applied to a campaign?
Sorcerer.
It's a sorcerer. Highest degree sorcerer in Satan's church. It's not good. So
right.
You have to look at the whole picture. It's not a good picture, but it's good to know all the information so you can have a clear shot understanding and make a decision yourself.
Right. All of these names that they're using, Golden Age and MAGA, they don't mean what you think they mean. So it's good to look them up in etymology. And it's just good to look them up. MAGA means magician. MAGA in Latin means magic, magical, witch. MAGA in Spanish means magician or wizard or illusionist. MAGA in Polish means magician. MAGA in Sanskrit means magician or priest of the sun. So we looked up a few of these so we could tell y'all and show y'all what it means. And what about, we had said it a while ago, not MAGA, but
Golden Age?
Yes, Golden Age. What do we find out that means?
That it really talks about prosperity. But the prosperity, at the time people are having prosperity, there's magic being performed. And that means a sleight of hand and also a twist of the words. So you do not understand what's truly being done. And
also, whenever we looked it up about Golden Age, it also said about a decline. So I know, in some places it says like peace and prosperity and stuff, but there's a place we found it says decline.
A temporal decline.
Right. So we also wanted to direct y'all also to, if y'all want to find out more about all of this, y'all can go to Matthew Shawshay's channel on YouTube, and he has a lot of good stuff about all this.
He did a lot of information background check and checking stuff.
Right. And he's trying to spread the truth. So, you know, y'all can take a look at that. You know, we're not Seventh-day Adventists, but, you know, we do try to, you know, take and glean, you know, from, you know,
Different
people,
information.
yeah, different people that are telling the truth. And, you know, it may not be, you know, some of these people may not have all the whole truth. We're not saying that, but they got enough of the truth that, you know, you can believe a lot of what they're saying. So, you know, we're not saying all their doctrines are right because they're Seventh-day Adventists, but they do have a lot of truth in there, though. So it'd be a good thing if y'all could go and check out his channel, Matthew Shanchet on YouTube. And I think his last name, I think, is spelled Schanche. So y'all get a chance, y'all check that out. He's got some good stuff. And also another one is Truth Unedited on YouTube. He's got some good stuff too. He exposes some stuff too.
Yes.
Well, until next time, 2 Lamps Last Hour News.